Hello, today we're going to be making a character for the game Old School Essentials. If you're watching this, you're probably not at the thing I'm hosting tomorrow, but you still wanted to participate, so I'm making this video for you. It's going to be relatively uncut, as we're just going to kind of go through this together, and I can show you guys the process. So, first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get all the resources you're going to need. If you found this video, you probably found it through the Teams link I sent out. And Teams is where you're going to be able to find the books for the game and the PowerPoint I made that we're going to be using to sort of walk through everything. So, first thing you are going to want to do is open up Microsoft Teams. And when you open up Microsoft Teams, it's going to look a little something like this. And if you're seeing this video, that means you're in the Microsoft Teams, or you found my YouTube channel. So you're going to want to go ahead and open up Dungeons and Dragons and Students and Success and Centers, which is where the files are going to be located. So we open up that team, we go into Files right here, and from there we're going to hit Files, and it brings us to a blank screen, and we're like, oh god, this folder's empty, what are we going to do? Don't worry, we're going to hit Documents right up here. Hitting Documents will let us come into the site library, and you should be able to see both the general folder and the OSC starter kit folder. One of these is going to be more useful for what we're doing than the other, so we're going to go ahead and click OSC starter kit. And in here, we can see we have the characters book, the magic book, if you end up being a magic user, and we have a character sheet. So I'm going to be just putting everything I need in a note document. So I'm just going to type everything out that I need. If you prefer a character sheet, we have one here. And this lets you sort everything. It has little notes, it has little reminders on the rules, and things like that. It's very good for people who like to organize. There's a little character portrait here, but the game is simple enough that you just need really a piece of paper or a blank document on your computer. You can do it in Word, you could do it in Excel if you wanted. If you want to, hell, you can make it in PowerPoint. Do whatever's comfortable for you. You just need a place where you can type or write. So I am going to, and then finally, we have the PowerPoint that I made, which I have actually downloaded. But you can view all of the documents that are in the files directly in Microsoft Teams, or you can download them. To download the PowerPoint file, it's similar to how you do your timesheet. You go up to File, you go to Save As, and then you'll want to download a copy. But I've already downloaded it, so I'm not going to download it again. And I've already downloaded, for the sake of simplicity, I've already downloaded the books, and I have everything open. So, minimizing Microsoft Teams, ba-bam! We have the PowerPoints over here. I have my book opened in Adobe Acrobat. You can open it wherever. I like Adobe Acrobat though, and we have access to it through the school. And then over on my other monitor, we have, getting rid of my downloads folder, I have a dice roller, I have Google Dice Roller. You can look up dice on Google, and you can roll dice directly in Google's browser, and it works like a charm. So let's get started now that we have everything we need. There is one issue. The issue being, you guys can't see my character sheet. And now you can, because I've moved my head out of the way. Perfect. So you can see I have some abbreviations already written in, and they are probably a little bit confusing. I'm going to bump them down a little bit so we'll be able to write stuff up above, just because I like to organize that way. You guys might not like that, and that's okay. So let's get started with the PowerPoint. So back over here, I'm going to make the PowerPoint a little bit bigger, and we'll get to the book when we need it. Alright, how do I make a D&D character? This is technically is old school essentials. I have the rule book right here. This is the rule book, and this is the entire rule book. There are basically 5 books rolled into one in here. We're only going to be using one of those 5 books. So you can see over here it's about 70 pages, but you're not going to use all 70 of those pages today. So try not to overwhelm yourself. You can do it. I believe in you. So, first things first, to make a character, we are going to roll ability scores. You roll 3d6 for each of your character's ability scores: strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and charisma. If you roll a character with very poor ability scores, for example 8 or less in every score, or an extremely low rating in one ability, the referee, that's me, may allow you to discard the character and start again. So what does that all mean? Basically, D&D characters, they're summed up in 6 different statistics. Those being strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and charisma. And what each of those things means is written out here on the slide. Strength being your brawn, your muscle, your physical power. Intelligence being your learning, your memory, your reasoning. Where basically we're generating the primary characteristics of our character, and we do that randomly with dice. So, looking at all of these, we have strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and charisma. You're going to hear those a lot, so I keep saying them. And then over here, I have STR, INT, WIS, DEX, CON, and CHA. Strength, intelligence, wisdom, dexterity, constitution, and charisma. And we look at how they wanted us to generate those. Roll 3d6 for each of your character's ability scores. So what does that mean? 3d6 is notation that you're going to see quite a bit playing games like this. Basically, the first number tells you how many dice to roll, and the second number tells you how many sides each of those dice should have. So 3d6 means 3 6-sided dice. 4d10 means 4 10-sided dice. 2d20 would mean 2 20-sided dice. And you get annoying situations like 3d6 if you say 3d6 fast enough, or not 3d6, but say 4d6. If you say 46 fast enough, it sounds like 46, which is different than 46. All right, you got all that? Wonderful. So we're going to go through one by one, rolling 3 6-sided dice, adding them up, and then recording that number for an ability score. So going over to our dice roller, over here we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and roll 3 6-sided dice. Oh, we're off to a great start. Here we are with our first score, which is a 7. The reason we do 3d6 is because it gives us a nice bell curve. So the average of that is around a 10, and our highest possible score is an 18, and the lowest possible score is a 3. 7, you can already tell, is below average. It's not very good. So this guy isn't going to be super strong. But that's okay. We'll see if they have any other good scores. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's a little better. They have an intelligence of 12. 1, 2, 3. Next is our wisdom. We have a wisdom of 8. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, we have a dexterity of 14. 1, 2, 3. Well, that tracks. We have a constitution of 8. I already think I know what kind of character I'm going to make, but we'll get there in a second. 1, 2, 3. And finally, our charisma is 10. So, we've done that. We've gotten our ability scores laid out. Now you may be wondering, Alex, what the hell do all of these numbers mean? That's a very good question. What the hell do all these numbers mean? So, each of our ability scores and the number that we have for them is going to represent different things. I think I'm going to mess with the order of things a little bit on the fly. Bam, bam. That is probably going to be more readable. Alright, so what do all these numbers mean? We're going to go one by one and look down. So strength is going to determine our melee bonus. So a number that we add when we are attacking in melee with somebody, when we're attacking in close range. As well as our probability in 6 of being able to open a locked or stuck door. So how good are you at crashing through doors? So first things first, we need to do our melee. I'm gonna do colon. Our strength is a 7, so we look at the 7 or the 6 through 8 on the chart. We have a -1 in melee. I'm gonna write that in. And a 1 in 6 open doors. So I'm gonna do another colon. So 1 in 6 open doors. All right. Next is our intelligence. Our intelligence is going to determine how literate we are and how many extra languages we have. So we have a 12. We are literate in our native languages, and we have full literacy. If you are below 9, there's a chance that you are entirely illiterate. You cannot read. So, native, yeah, we just have native languages and we are literate in them. So, I'm going to note that. Next is our wisdom. Our wisdom is, according to the last slide, it is our common sense, it is our willpower, and it is our intuition. Coming down here, what it gives us mechanically, or within the rules of the game, is it will give us a bonus on our magic saves. So, we'll get to what a save is later. For now, all we need to know is our wisdom is 8, so we get a -1 to saves. Next is our dexterity, our highest stat, and it's going to give us quite a bit of things. It will give us an adjustment to our armor class, which will determine how hard we are to hit or deal damage to. It will give us an adjustment to our missile attacks, so any ranged attacks that we do, it will give us an adjustment to that. And it gives us a modifier to our initiative if we are acting alone. Typically, what initiative means is who gets to go first in combat, and if you're acting by yourself, then you get to add this bonus. So I'm going to go ahead and put +1. We don't need to note all of the things because all of them are +1 for us. Next is our Constitution. Constitution is an important one, and this is why I reacted so poorly when I got an 8. Constitution is going to modify our hit points. So every time we gain more maximum hit points, our Constitution is going to modify that. And because we have an 8, we get a -1 to all hit points. So we are much more vulnerable than somebody with even a 10 Constitution or 14 or 15. And then finally is Charisma. Charisma is going to be Charisma is your force of personality and your favor with the gods. So it's how much people like you. And we get a modifier to what is called the NPC reactions. NPC reactions are going to be how people who are not other players at the table are going to react to you. So if you guys go and talk to a goblin, how does that goblin feel about you? You'll roll an NPC reaction. So the higher charisma you have, the better they're going to feel about you. The lower your charisma, the worse they're going to feel about you. With our charisma of 10, we got no reaction adjustment. We have 4 for our maximum number of retainers, and 7 for their loyalty. Retainers and those rules will come up later, but it's still important to note that stuff down right now. I'm going to just put 4:7 retainers. Alright, we've dealt with our ability scores. Next, we have to choose a class. As the slide says, this is your adventuring profession, and it also determines your species. You are a human unless you pick a class that says you're not. your options are the cleric, the fighter, the magic user, the thief, the dwarf, the elf, or the halfling. So with those last three, because they are not human, dwarf, elf, and halfling are different species, if you pick those classes, you will be that species. Otherwise, if you pick cleric, fighter, magic user, or thief, you'll be a human. I think I'm going to go with a magic user, just because I have above average intelligence and a pretty decent dexterity, and that will help me from not getting hit. My constitution isn't going to be the best for this, as we're going to see in a bit, but we will make it work. So we're going to type, I'm going to go ahead and type in magic user right up there. Next, I guess I should explain how I came to the conclusion of magic user. Each of the classes has certain statistics that they like to focus on. The first three statistics in our list over here, strength, intelligence, and wisdom, each corresponding to one of the classes. The cleric is off of wisdom, the fighter cues off of strength, the magic user cues off of intelligence, and our thief cues off of dexterity. And you might be wondering, Alex, why not play a thief? Thieves are pretty good, but I think it's fun to have spells, and I will have the same issues being a thief than I were playing a magic user. So I feel like having access to magic spells might help my survivability a little bit. It makes me more valuable to the party as well. Thieves also have their own place. Do not be discouraged to play a thief. If your numbers come out and you're like, oh, well, I have really good dexterity, I kind of want to play a thief, then play a thief. Thieves are cool. So next, we are going to get to adjust our ability scores. We get to take the numbers we found in step 1 and change them to fit our class, like I was talking about earlier. These are the rules regarding the restrictions on ability score adjustments. Your prime requisite is determined by your class. Having a higher prime requisite will help you in future adventuring endeavors. So, the prime requisite for the magic user, we haven't gone to look at the magic user in the book yet. Let's go ahead and do that. So, I'm going to go ahead and make this. Do you want to work with me? There we go. So, I'm going to pop open the book, go to the table of contents. Classes, I want to play magic user, page 28, so I can type in page 28 up there, or I can just go, ba-bam! Hey, it's the magic user page. I go, starting up here, I'm a magic user, there are no requirements to be a magic user, and my prime requisite is intelligence. So, going back to this page, if you wish, you may raise your character's prime requisite, so I can raise my intelligence, by lowering other ability scores. For every 2 points by which an ability score is lowered, 1 point may be added to a prime requisite. The following restrictions apply. So only strength, intelligence, and wisdom may be lowered in this way, and no score may be lowered below 9. So let's say you roll 18 wisdom, 18 intelligence, and 7 strength, and you're like, well, I really wanted to play a fighter. That kind of sucks. I have these stats that are really good for a magic user or a cleric, and I want to play a fighter. What do I get to do? Well, this is where you get to do that. You can lower your intelligence and your wisdom to a minimum of 9, and boost up your strength. It requires you to roll pretty well, and there are restrictions on it, as you can see, but it can be really helpful. Unfortunately, because my strength and my wisdom are already below 9, I can't lower them anymore. So, I guess I'm stuck with 12 intelligence. That's okay, because we'll make it work. We might die, we might have to make a new character, but that's okay. So, next, because we can't adjust our stats at all, we note our THAC0. That's how this THAC0 is pronounced. THAC0. This number is added to any ranged or melee attacks that you make in addition to the bonuses and penalties from one's ability scores. So if I were to shoot with a bow, I would get to add my +1 for having a dexterity of 14, and I would get to add my THAC0. You will see in the book. We come over to the book here, and we look at the THAC0 part of my class. Each class has their own THAC0 chart. Mine, there is a number outside of brackets, and there's a number inside of brackets. We're going to be using the number inside the brackets. The difference between them is worth choosing the one inside the brackets, just because it is an easier rule to learn as opposed to learning some backwards math. Just take the one in the brackets. It doesn't really matter. Just listen to me, take the one in the brackets. So, I'm level 1. We always start at level 1. In this case, we're starting at level 1. Going across, THAC0 of 19 outside brackets, 0 inside the brackets. So I'm just going to record the 0 over on my character sheet, and you can see that I did that right here on the blue highlighted part. THAC0, I put it in brackets. You don't need to do that. THAC0 is 0. So this number is also referred to as an attack bonus or a general attack bonus. I say THAC0 because I think it's fun to say, and there's some history as to why it's called a THAC0. I just think it's a fun word, and I like that kind of historical legacy. So we've noted our THAC0. We got that from our class. A lot of this stuff is going to come from our class. Next, we need to note saving throws and class abilities. Once again, all this stuff comes from our class. But what the heck is a saving throw and what the hell is a class ability? Saving throws are die rolls you make to see if a negative effect afflicts you. It's pretty simple. If a dragon breathes fire on you, you're going to roll a saving throw to see if you get damaged by that fire, or by how much you get damaged by that fire. And the saving throws come in 5 flavors that I'm going to note down on my character sheet right now. D, W, P, B, S. And they each stand for something, but I just remember DWPBS. And I remember that by remembering DW was a character on Arthur, and Arthur aired on PBS. DWPBS. Each of them stands for something. D stands for death, starting out very dramatic. W stands for wand, as in a magic wand. P stands for paralysis. B stands for breath, as in a dragon's breath. And S stands for spells, rods, and staves. Or staves. Staff. Like a wizard's staff. And I will... If you need to make a saving throw, I'll tell you which one you need to make. We're going to go grab those numbers right now from the book. So going over, you can see, oh, there's a saving throw chart. That's wonderful. Cool. And for level 1, we will write in all of our saving throws. So D is 13. D is 13. W is 14. P is 13. B is 16. And S is 15. So these saving throws, you're going to be rolling a 20-sided die and trying to roll over them. If you are able to roll over them, then you succeed on your saving throw. If you do not, then you fail on your saving throw. So if somebody casts a magic spell on me and I need to make a saving throw, I would roll a 20-sided die like so. Ba-bam. I got a 17, and somebody cast a spell on me, so I can pair that to my spell save over here. It's 15, so I succeed on my saving throw. I rolled over. That is our saving throws. Next is our class features. Class features are class abilities, are powers and proficiencies granted to you by your class. And we can see also here that these are determined by class and level. They are specific to your class, You may not have any have many class abilities like the fighter. The fighter has one class ability and it lets them use every kind of weapon. And you may have spells like the magic user. This includes our languages, which we will note now. So going over to our class again, boom. Going over to our class again, we're going to, first things first, the class abilities, we already noted our saving throws. They come from the chart, and they're based on our level. Next, we are going to look at these things in the green headings. For the magic user, we have arcane magic. So I'm going to go ahead and write arcane magic on my little character sheet. Arcane magic. And there's a lot of stuff here. We can do magical research. We can cast spells. We can use magic items. And those are all very good things. We don't have to write down all that stuff. We can always reference back to the rule book if we need it. And then under our next one, we have combat. Magic users can only use daggers and are unable to use shields or any kind of armor. This makes them very vulnerable in combat. That's some good information. So, I'm going to go ahead and write down, can only use daggers. Bam! So, all that is written in. After reaching 11th level, we're not 11th level, we don't need to worry about that, but we can always look into the future and see what may happen. A magic user, after reaching 11th level, may build a stronghold, often a great tower, 1d6, so you roll a 6-sided die, to see how many apprentices of 1 through 3rd level will arrive to study under the magic user. So basically, if you become a great enough magic user, other magic users will come and study under you, and that's kind of cool. But we have to survive and get to that point first. So don't count your eggs before they hatch. Next is so we've noted our saving throws and class abilities. We need to note our languages. Entirely forgot. Languages are found over here, and you get all of the languages listed there. So we get our alignment language, which you have no clue what that is yet, but we'll find out soon. So I'm going to write alignment, and spell it correctly. And common. Common is, for our purposes, it's English. It is the language that humans speak. And if you have higher intelligence and you noted that you have extra languages, I did not over here, but if I did, then this is when we would note those down as well. And we can do that by looking at the next slide. So now if we have spells, I'm a magic user, so we do, or any extra languages, you can roll on the other languages table, or you can roll on the magic spells table. To determine how many spells you have, we're going to go back to our class. It's always in the class section, unless otherwise stated typically. Looking at the magic user, let's see, spell casting is these rules over here. Magic users carry spell books containing the formulae for arcane spells. The spellcasting chart, opposite, is part of the chart over here. The spellcasting chart shows both the number of spells in the magic user's spellbook and the number they may memorize, determined by the character's experience level. Thus, a first level magic user, that's me, has one spell in their spellbook, selected by the referee, who may allow the players to choose. The list of spells is available in the Classic Fantasy Magic book, which is the other book in the teams. I have just copied the first level list into the PowerPoint, so you can roll directly over there. We're going to do that. So we get one spell according to the chart over here. One. We get one first level spell. So looking at the chart in the PowerPoint, there are 12 options. I'm going to roll a 12-sided die. Bam. 4. So, coming back over to the PowerPoint, looking here, 4 is hold portal. Hold portal. So underneath Arcane Magic, I'm going to put Hold Portal. That'll probably let me hold a door open, probably, if I had to guess. I don't know exactly what it does, but it'll probably be helpful. And then let's say for the sake of showing you guys, I got high enough intelligence to get an extra language. Let's go ahead and roll a 20-sided die for the extra language table. We rolled an 11, coming back over here to the table. An 11 is harpy. So harpies are sort of winged beasts that live in nests. Sort of a Greek, a creature from Greek myth. And we can talk to them, apparently. That's kind of cool. All right. So we have added our spell and extra languages. Roll the dodecahedron or icosahedron. That's just it's the name of the shape of the specific dice. A 12-sided die is a dodecahedron, and a 20-sided die is an icosahedron. And that's how you spell those. We can take a second to appreciate the beautiful art. All of this art I've grabbed from the various Old School Essentials rulebooks, and it is really quite something, and I think it does a really good job of setting up the mood of the game and getting everybody excited. But next, step 6, we have to roll our hit points. So let's go ahead and do that. Making a little section on the character sheet. I'm going to abbreviate hit points to HP. And let's see here. Hit points represent your character's threshold for avoiding death. You lose hit points when you avoid certain death. When you lose all of your hit points, you die. Resting in town will restore some hit points. To determine starting hit points, roll a die based on your class and apply your Constitution modifier. So that modifier that we grabbed from our Constitution earlier, this -1 that I have, we're going to roll a die and then apply that modifier. So I'm a magic user. I'm going to roll a d4, a 4-sided die. I'm going to have either 1, 2, 3, or 4 hit points. That's not very many, especially compared to a dwarf or a fighter who gets a d8. That's why we're using this optional rule over here, re-rolling 1s and 2s. If you roll for hit points and it comes up as a 1 or a 2 before applying your modifier, the referee may allow you to re-roll. That's me, I'm allowing you to re-roll. This is in order to increase the survivability of first level PCs. PC stands for player character. That's your guys' characters. So, I'm going to implement that rule, and I'm going to want to implement that rule because I'm playing a magic user, and I want to be able to survive. So, as a magic user, we roll 1d4, or 1 4-sided die, and we're going to re-roll on 1s or 2s. 3, and so that's not a 1 or a 2, so I keep that number, and I apply my Constitution modifier, which is -1. So I begin with 2 hit points. I have 2 out of 2. And I noted that right here, just using a fraction. You can note it however you want, but I have 2 hit points. Fantastic. Next, we have to choose an alignment. This is the slide with the most text on it, because alignment is sort of confusing. All beings, whether player characters, people controlled by you, non-player characters, people controlled by me, the referee, or monsters, adhere to one of 3 philosophies, or spheres of behavior, known as alignments. The spheres are law, neutrality, and chaos. A player must choose one of these paths when creating a character. Law, lawful beings believe in truth and justice. To this end, they will follow laws, and believe all things must adhere to order. Lawful beings also believe in sacrifice of the greater good, and will choose the good of a larger group over the good of an individual. Neutral beings believe in balance between the ideas of law and chaos, and in their actions tend to do what serves themselves. They might commit good or evil acts in order to further their own ends, and generally will not put others' needs ahead of their own. Finally, chaotic beings are in direct opposition to law. These beings should seldom be trusted, for they tend to act in evil ways and are utterly selfish. Chaotic characters believe in chance and that there is no innate order to life. You may be tempted immediately seeing the chaos one, being like, I'm an agent of chaos, I'm going to pick that one. Go right ahead. You can do that. This is your character and you can do what you want with them. But I'm going to kind of hold you to it. If you are like, I want to be chaotic, then you're going to be chaotic, and that might disrupt the party, and they might kill you, and that just may be how it goes. Note that none of these are good or evil. Some of them have good or evil kind of connotations to them, with a lawful being putting the good of a larger group over the good of an individual, but there can be evil law, and there can be good chaos, and there can be evil chaos, and there can be good law, and there can be all the neutrality in between. So pick carefully. I am playing a wizard. I am going to be neutral. So I'm going to write neutrality, and I'm going to take that neutrality, and I'm going to take my alignment language and replace it with neutrality. The way that the creator of Dungeons and Dragons meant for this to be thought of is sort of your religion, your alignment language, your let's say you speak neutrality. That's super weird, right? I don't think the creator of the game didn't think of it as any different than a Jewish person speaking Hebrew or a Christian speaking Latin. It's sort of a holy language, and it's sort of a shibboleth to help you talk to somebody. You can speak at them in neutrality or law or chaos, whatever you speak, and if they respond back in that language, you now know their stance on things. And that's the purpose of alignment language, and alignment comes into greater effect when you begin interacting with other creatures and things like that. It'll also come into effect with your magic items. So next is step 8, buy equipage. Buy equipment. I just wanted to use the word equipage because I think it's fun. Roll 3d6 and multiply it by 10. Okay. 1, 2, 3. 5, 5, and 4. That's 10 plus 4 is 14. 14 times 10 is 140. I currently have 140 gold pieces. So, heading back over here, I've written down my 140 gold pieces. You can now, so now that I've done the first step, you can now outfit yourself with various armors, tools, and weapons on the next slide. Make sure you look at what kinds of weapons and armor your character class can use. I can't use any armor. I didn't write that down, but magic users can't use any armor, and they can only use daggers. I did write that down. So let's go ahead and go over here. Yikes. Well, I'm going to want to buy a dagger. Looking at the first thing here. Let's go ahead and buy a dagger. Dagger is going to cost me 3 gold pieces. So we're going to go ahead and subtract 3 from our gold piece total, and I'm going to go ahead and add a dagger to my list. Can't use any other weapons. Can't use any armor. Okay. Make sure to note the bracketed armor class associated with your armor and apply the AC modifier from your dexterity. So, because I'm not buying any armor, what the heck is my armor class? Your armor class it determines how easy or hard you are to hit. And if you're not wearing armor, that number can be difficult to find. So, I don't think I put it in the slide here, but I do have the rule book next to me, so I can check and hopefully find it. Um, if your character has no armor, their armor class bracketed is 10. So my armor class is 10 in brackets. I should really add that to this slide. I will do that after we're done recording. So my armor class is 10. I'm going to go ahead and write that underneath my hit points. AC for armor class, it's 10. And then, I forgot to apply my armor class modifier from my dexterity. Dexterity, I just put a +1, so I'm going to give myself a +1. So now my 10 has turned into 11. So that means that somebody attacking me is going to roll a 20-sided die, add all of their modifiers, and if they roll higher than an 11, I get hit, and I will take damage to my hit points. That, you can see how I probably won't survive very long if somebody's rolling a 20-sided die and then adding numbers to it to see if they can hit me. But you play smart, you stay in the back, you can potentially survive, and there are magic spells to help with your armor class. So we're going to go ahead and go forward with this character. We still have 137 gold pieces, and there's all of this different equipment here. Buy whatever you want. All sorts of stuff. I have a calculator right by me, so I'm going to go ahead and buy... let's buy some rations and a water skin. Those are the two things that I always say to buy. Buy some standard rations and a water skin and a backpack to carry all your stuff. Backpack. And that will come out to 5 plus standard rations are also 5. And water skin is 1. And I just sort of keep track of how much money I'm spending on my calculator over here. Let's see, what else do we want? I already have a spell book, so I don't need to buy anything like that. Although having garlic might be nice in case we run into any vampires. I'll add garlic on there, and garlic is 5 gold. So add 5 to my calculator. I'm going to buy some rope, which is +1. Rope, and rope comes in lengths of 50 feet. So I'm going to write 50 feet next to my rope. A tinderbox is probably pretty good, so let's add 3 for the tinderbox. Help me light some fires. Torches. I'm going to buy 12 torches. So 6 torches is 1 gold, 12 torches is 2 gold. And why not buy, I'll buy 2 pints of wine. Might come in handy if we need to light something on fire, or if we run into something, we could bribe it with the wine. I don't know, it could be useful. Go ahead and add that. Note that's 2 pints. Did I buy? I think I bought everything. That might be useful. I rolled pretty good on my stats. Let's buy a 10-foot pole. You might be wondering, Alex, why the hell is there a 10-foot pole on the list? Why do I need a 10-foot long pole? Go into the dungeon and accidentally step on a trap. That's why you need a 10-foot pole. Pretty useful if you have a 10-foot pole and you can poke at the floor in front of you before stepping on it. We're gonna do 10-foot pole. So I have food, I have water, I have some extra stuff. Ooh, I could buy a grappling hook. Plus 25. Grappling hook is expensive. I'm gonna have a lot of money left over just because I don't have to buy armor. If you look over here, armor is pretty expensive and weapons are pretty expensive. And so I'm rather restricted, so I get extra money. That's that's a bit of the trade-off. So I can buy a lot more of this random stuff. Grappling hook. All right, so totaling up all my money, I think I'm done shopping for now. I spent 49 gold pieces. I have 137. Do some subtraction. 137 minus 49. Nope, can't type. Minus 49 means I have 88 gold pieces left. They're sitting in a sack in my bag. That was the shopping portion. Next, and the final step is give your character a name. Let's see, what's a good wizard's name? If you can't think of a name, there's a bunch of different things online. Let's go real quick here, and if I just look up wizard names, this is on Yahoo Finance. Let's ignore that. Fantasy name generator. This is gonna be your best friend. Let's see, anything. Ooh, I like Zeben. I think that's kind of mysterious and alien. So we're gonna name this guy Zeben. And I put it up at the top of the page. You can also start to think of their personality. A good rule of thumb is to come up with a descriptive sentence or two that captures their physical appearance and personality. A young, bald man in purple robes turns their head up at those in dirty clothes. So if I go bam, and then again put that down. Alright, we have Zeben. A young bald man in purple robes turns their head up at those in dirty clothes. I sort of made a poem on accident, but now we have a character. We know what they look like. We know a little bit about their disposition, how they feel about the people around them, and we have all of the information they could possibly need. There's really not that much here, all in all. And looking over here, and we're done. We've made a character. If you have any questions looking through this, leave a comment on the video, or go ahead and send me a message on Teams, or find me at work, and I can definitely give you a hand. I'm sorry that the video is a little bit longer than I expected, but sort of going through everything step by step by step. It's taking you like 5 minutes to explain each step, where in actuality it takes you maybe a couple of seconds to do it yourself. But yeah, it's done. We did it. Cool. I'll see some people tomorrow, and I'll see the rest of people when we start planning. Exciting.